Hey everyone, how's it going? Mario here. Guys, I wanted to make a quick video. I was having a really good conversation today with a good friend of mine, Mark, MCK, and we were talking a little bit about veteran suicide and how this affects so many people. I really don't think I've ever made a video stating the reason why so many veterans commit suicide. Um, so I'm just going to give you guys my theory. Understand this is just my point of view. Of course, there are many out there as to why, many of our service members, when they come back from combat, they end up taking their lives. So let me see how I can start this. As you guys know, the U.S. military and their main mission is to win the nation's wars, right? Whether it is the interest of the United States, anything related to the interest of the United States, to defending the homeland, to maybe freeing a country from a dictator or anything like that, right? That's the purpose of the military. You, the taxpayers, do a wonderful job of funding your military. I mean, and to be honest with you, a third of the total GDP of the United States is all based on, it's all pretty much spent on the defense of the United States and the defense of the funding of the United States military. Um, so understand that you as a taxpayer, you have given us the funds to create a better military. And what do military leaders do? Well, military leaders pretty much create the curriculum and they create the training basis for us to become, lethal force within, the world. So, what the U.S. military does and their leaders is they pretty much mold us and create us to the point that we become a lethal fighting force, sorry, that will take on any adversary in the world, right? This is how some of you guys have seen a small portion of how a Green Beret goes through the process, or a SEAL goes through the process of becoming a SEAL or a Green Beret or Army Ranger. Well, it's no different for anybody, whether you're a cook, whether you're an infantryman, a tanker, whether you're a clerk. There is certain curriculum, there's certain guidelines that are passed on by military leaders as to what creates that soldier, or that airman, that marine. You guys get the point, and make them into a lethal fighting force. So, especially for a lot of our veterans who are in, you know, um, military occupation specialties or MOSs that really deal with a lot of combat, like infantry, like artillery, engineers, MPs, all these, you know, great organizations and great units that have all these specialties that are considered combat related are usually your frontline leaders, right? Our medics, um, our tankers, all these guys. So we create these guys and we make them tough. I'm telling you guys, we make them to the point that these guys can take on anything and any kind of situation, right? They put us through some of the toughest training in the world. They give us the best materials and equipment and get us ready for war. Now, understand, you, the taxpayer, have created this lethal, lethal force and lethal service members, right? And you send them out to places like Iraq and Afghanistan and all these other places where there's combat, right? And many of them have experiences that will alter their life forever. They'll see many of their buddies die in front of them. They'll see civilians die. They'll see kids die. They'll see moms and grandmas and anything that you can think of. and they'll see some of the worst part of war, the worst part of humanity as itself, right? And then all of a sudden, these guys become these lethal forces, right? That have this adrenaline built into them. And then, you just create this junkie of adrenaline. That's what's basically what we are. We are adrenaline junkies. And you go to war and you come back, to a house that's nice and quiet. You don't have to worry about somebody, maybe throwing a suicide bomb and try to blow you up. You don't have to worry about IEDs. You don't have to worry about somebody lobbing mortars at your house or anything like that, right? You come home to a place where it's nice and everything is in great shape and everybody gets along, right? But I think what we've forgotten is the sense of purpose and why a lot of us do what we do. A lot of us in the military have a tendency of doing things not because of how much great we get paid, because we don't get paid all that great, but to a lot of us is, serving something bigger than ourselves. Being able to defend our country because we love our country. We believe in the values of our country and what we stand for, right? And that's the reason why a lot of us defend our country. I mean, to me, that's the reason why I did it. I didn't do it for freaking college fun or anything like that. There's two reasons why I joined the military. One is because I came as a poor immigrant boy from Guatemala, and for me, the best way to give back is to serve. And I served the United States Army for 22 years. And I saw some stuff, yes, and I don't regret it. I don't regret anything about my military career because I was able to do things I've always wanted to do in my lifetime. So by the time I did hang up my uniform, I had done everything I wanted to do. But the transition aspect of it is what sucks. And I'm just trying to explain this to you guys to the point where you got to understand that a lot of our service members, when they come back home, they feel worthless because there is no sense of purpose. Many of them get 9-to-5 jobs, really mundane 9-to-5 jobs, and it drives them insane because they don't feel like they are making a difference. They don't feel like anything they do is worth the effort. It's not like in the military. The military, the reason why, we have all of these series like Band of Brothers and stuff like that, and you see how tight people become to the point that they feel like they're brothers, And when you lose that and you come home to middle America, suburbia, and you're trying to understand the world and how everything works, and everything that's quiet drives you insane because everything is so quiet. And then all of a sudden you hear something and it completely flips you the fuck over. And you have no idea how to deal with it, things that before would never bother you now. You become a totally different person than when you were before. You have become something that, not even your spouses, your significant others, or your loved ones, like your parents, will ever understand, And to them, it's like you come home different, but they don't understand it. And I think that's the real reason why so many people kill themselves, because they come home and they don't feel a sense of purpose. I really feel that the U.S. military does a horrible job of transitioning service members once they get out of the military. I think they don't provide enough resources for a lot of our personnel to get the help they need. We have this thing that we start from the day you show up at basic training boot camp or wherever you go, and that is they make you tough, right? They tell you suck it up, dry the fuck on, don't be a pussy, And please, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but that's just the way we talk, all right? And and you fucking whatever comes at you, you fucking take it, and it doesn't matter whether it's discriminating type of comments to you or whatever. They want to build you to become a tough person, right? So you have that mentality, right? You have that mentality because you're like, I'm going to suck it up and do what I got to do and drive on. and they continue to have that kind of concept even after they get out of the military. So many of them, even though they feel like they're left out, they feel like nobody can understand them, they don't know how to reach out and get some help. They don't know if it's okay for them to get the help that they need. Or in some cases, you may still be active duty or you may be a reservist, right? But because of your rank or wherever you might be, you decide not to get the mental help that you need, and you end up committing suicide. I had a really good friend of mine. He was a first sergeant. He's a senior non-commissioned officer, right? And who does a first sergeant go to if they need help? Who does a command sergeant major go if they need help? All these high-ranking individuals, a master sergeant or sergeant first class, who do these guys go to if they need help? And do they just suck it up and drive on because they're leaders and they are supposed to suck it up? Or what about a brigade commander like a colonel or a lieutenant colonel who's a battalion commander, or an executive officer like a major or something like that, even a captain, right? Who do these people go and get some help from? And that is the biggest problem, because a lot of them have this stigma that, hey, I'm going to suck it up and drive on and do what I got to do. But in reality, they're dying inside. And that's exactly what happens. Everybody slowly starts dying inside, to the point that we become like Robin Williams. I saw Robin Williams twice, once in Kuwait and once in Iraq. And I would never thought that this man would ever commit suicide. To me, it completely shocked me when I found out that Robin Williams had passed away due to suicide. But in reality, you stop and think about it, he is no different than how I am. I try to be happy-go-lucky or whatever, but there's days, guys, that I feel like I'm dying inside. And I know that there's a lot of people out there, a lot of our service members that feel the same way, So what do you do if you're a loved one? Here's my thing. Here's some advice I'm going to give you guys. One, reach out. Tell them that you love them. Tell them that you care about them, that it doesn't matter what they're going through. They don't have to explain what you've been going through. But go out there and get the help that they need. There are so many resources for veterans now. Thank God. Thank God. And go out there and get it for them. There's pretty much every local veterans group, wherever you may live, has some sort of counseling. Has some can point people to the right way. The VA has the suicide prevention hotline. I mean, you have so many resources. BFW, American Legion, and countless other great veteran organizations. You just have to reach out and say, hey, you know what? My loved one needs help. I know that they don't want to get help, but I know that there's something going on with them and they need help. And maybe sometimes that's what they need in order for them to get back to where they need to. Another thing that happens too, guys, is that, and this is something I was talking to my friend Mark, is that a lot of us have survivor's guilt, and I'm going to explain to you guys what happened to me during the holidays. Here I am looking at my family. I see my grandkid. I see my daughters. I see everybody. And I start crying all of a sudden. I don't understand why I'm crying. I don't get it. And later on, I kind of start thinking about it. And in reality, I have survivor's guilt. To this day, I still have survivor's guilt. I saw one of my good friends die pretty much in front of me, right? And to this day, I still think about him. To this day, I still wish he would have what I have, And those are the things that are never going to go away. I mean, we're getting close to being 20 years from the time I was there, the first deployment, and I'm still thinking about it. The war never goes anywhere, guys. You can tell that to any Vietnam vet. They'll tell you. Some of our Vietnam vets are, in their 70s now, and they still think about Vietnam, And it's crazy, guys. And in reality, we just got to save as many of our service members as we can. It is a national tragedy when I hear of a service member who served in Iraq or Afghanistan commit suicide. To this day, I still think about who did not reach out to him, who didn't do enough to help this person, you know? And recently, if you guys want to get more recent in news, if you guys recall, like last week, there was a story about a former Miss America, right, who committed suicide. And mind you, she just won the Miss America pageant like 2019. So understand that suicide can happen to anybody, guys. It could be a pageant queen. It could be your buddy who was in the military, who served in Afghanistan or Iraq. It could be anybody, guys. And all that I ask from all you guys is that you try to do as much as you can. You try to intervene. And in most cases, just the small little tokens that you guys do that show that you appreciate that person, believe me, go a long way. And hopefully this will stop a lot of suicides from happening. So this is my take on this, guys. I hope that you guys get something out of it. I do appreciate you guys sticking through this. This is about 16 minutes now, and I try to make it as short as possible, but in reality, there's a lot of stuff that needed to be covered. So that's pretty much all I got, guys. Like always, God bless you. God bless the United States of America, and I'm out.